Hello, I have been playing games, working with and developing for Quest 2 from Meta and Pico 4 from ByteDance for some time. And let me give you my opinion as a game developer, which of the two most popular standalone VR headsets is better and why. You can currently see on the screen the components and features that I will be focusing on in this video. Let's start with the basics. Both headsets are standalone, which means you can play games directly on them, as they have a battery and a processor just like your phone. And they can be used as PC VR headsets as well. You can connect them with your computer and play games on them from your computer. And let's compare some basic differences as well. Both use the same chipset, so processor and GPU, but Pico's implementation is a little bit better because they have a fan providing better cooling for the chip, and the chip is slightly higher overclocked on Pico. This allows you to have better performance and better graphics. Pico 4 has 8GB of RAM as well, while the Quest 2 has only 6GB of RAM. Quest 2 uses Fresnel lenses, if you're able to see it from here, and the Pico 4 uses pancake lenses, and you can see how much clearer they are even from that distance. You also have a little bit more reflections on them. But overall, pancake lenses are better and they're used on the newest headset from Meta as well, the Quest Pro. It is a better technology, providing higher field of vision and better quality by concentrating most of the pixels in the middle of the lenses instead of staying on the edges where you don't look at. The field of vision of the Pico 4 is 105 degrees and the maximum achieved field of vision of the Quest 2 is 97 depending on the IPD adjustment. And when we talk about IPD adjustment, the Pico 4 has motorized IPD adjustment. So you just put the headset on and from the software you can adjust it. On the Quest 2 it is manual. So you have to move it with your hand when your headset is not on your head, and there are only 3 possible positions. You can also put it in the middle, but it is a little harder. And overall, the implementation of the Pico is better and doesn't feel that cheap compared to the implementation of the Quest 2. The resolution of the Quest 2 is 1832 by 1920 per eye, and the resolution of Pico 4 is 2160 by 2160. So not only do you have better lenses on the Pico 4 and better options for adjustment, the resolution is higher as well. On the other hand, when contrast and color accuracy are in question, the Quest 2 has slightly better contrast and the blacks look more black. The blacks on the Pico 4 are a little bit brighter, but the difference is small, but it is worth pointing out. Talking about resolution, the pass-through of the Pico 4 is in color, so there is one more additional camera and it's not black and white. The pass-through of the Quest 2 is black and white, but because it uses the normal cameras for the 3D view and for the tracking, it is with depth. So the pass-through of the Pico is in 2D and some things might look bigger or smaller than they should be, but the quality is so much better on the Pico 4. I'm able to take my phone and see a notification and actually read what is written in this notification from the pass-through, and on the Quest 2 I will be able to see my phone, but it will be hard to see the notification and there is absolutely no way to actually read any text from a screen through the pass-through. So let's go to refresh rate. Both headsets support 72 and 90 frames per second. The Quest 2 supports 120 as well, but there are not many games that actually support it. However, it is possible to use the higher refresh rate when playing games from the PC, as PC VR. And let's go to the controllers. The controllers of the Quest are lighter, but the controllers of the Pico have stronger haptics vibrations, because they also have two batteries in them, and this allows them to be stronger. Also, the controllers of the Pico actually hold the batteries better, because there is a button that you need to press so that they pop off, and on the Quest 2, if you use it for a long time, it is actually possible for the lid to fall off. And the tracking rings on the Pico are a little bit better positioned. Why? Because if I get the Quest 2 controllers, I cannot hold them really close to one another. And the controllers and the tracking rings of the Pico headset allows you to have them in more positions. For example, if you're playing a shooting game, then you can actually hold the gun more realistically, because there are no tracking rings here that will get in your way. And let's talk a little bit about the battery. The battery on the Quest 2 is 3640 milliamperes, and the battery of the Pico 4 is 5300 milliamperes. But the performance of the Pico 4 is a little bit better, so it only brings about half an hour more game time. The charging time for both is the same. The Quest 2 is charging on 15 watts and Pico on 20, but as Pico has a bigger battery, then of course it takes the same time. And Pico is able to get a bigger battery because it is in the back of the headset. Let's move on to the software. The Quest 2 was released in October of 2020. The Pico 4 was released in October 2022. 2 years regarding software is not that big of a deal, but let's not forget that the Quest supports everything that is made for the original Quest as well. A year and a half more for software development is also a plus. And yes, Pico has other headsets as well, but the other more popular one, Pico Neo 3, was released in 2021, which is actually later than even the Quest 2. Nevertheless, Pico 4 is catching up quickly. There are still many games and applications that are available on Quest and not on Pico, but aside from some exclusives, I think that most developers will make their products for Pico as well. As a game developer, I could say that it took me less than 3 days to install the SDK provided by Pico and make the game compatible with Pico devices. And as it is relatively easy, especially if you use a cross-platform game engine like Unity or Unreal, I would say that we'll see much more games from Quest being ported to Pico as well. And as mentioned, it really just takes a few days and even might take less, depending on what your game is and how you should implement all the inputs and controllers. So finally, let's compare prices and everything regarding them, because it's a little bit more complicated. As Pico is not officially sold in the USA, I'm going to compare prices in euro. So in Europe, for 128 GB of MetaQuest 2, you are going to pay €449.99. The Pico 4 costs €429.99. The price difference is only €20, but there is something else. Right out of the box, the Quest 2 is equipped with a strap that is terrible, and I highly recommend that you get a third-party replacement or improvement. However, Pico 4 comes with a better strap that even houses the battery in the back. So for €20 less, you get a good head strap, included, and with the battery being on the back, the front is not that heavy compared to the Quest 2, so it's more comfortable. With the Quest 2, you'll need to spend more money to get an Elite strap or another alternative, because if you're going to use it for more than 20 minutes, then you definitely need to get something for it to be comfortable. But this also means that it is easier to modify the Quest 2, because there is literally nothing in the back. You can remove that and you're left only with that here. And with the Pico 4 having a battery that is not removable in the back of the strap, it makes it a little bit harder to have third-party accessories, but there are some, you can get them, and they work actually pretty good. Of course, because the Quest is older, there are more third-party accessories as well. But again, as Pico 4 offers a better head strap out of the box, most people will not even bother to search for something extra unless they need a battery pack. And for Quest, it is just a must to get a more comfortable head strap. For both headsets, I would suggest that you get a silicone cover if you're not allergic to silicone, because it is so much easier to clean and makes the headsets a little bit more comfortable, and it's really cheap. And when we are talking about accessories, it is worth mentioning that the Quest 2 has an audio jack, and with the Pico 4 you're going to need to use a dongle from the Type-C or just connect Bluetooth headphones, but of course you can do that on the Quest 2 as well. In conclusion, as a hardware, Pico 4 is a better device. You can also see the components and features right now. It is newer, it feels and actually is a newer generation compared to the Quest 2, but on the software side, Quest 2 has more standalone games and applications developed for it. So which one should you get? As always, as with everything, it depends a little on the use case. If you have a gaming PC and you're planning to play PC VR, then definitely Pico 4. It is a better device. But if you're going to use your headset only in standalone mode, and there are games like Beat Saber and some other exclusives that you really want to play, then your only option is a Quest 2. So do your research, check out what games are available on Quest and what on Pico, and keep in mind that more will be ported to Pico as well. Just check which ones are exclusives, and if you don't really care about those exclusives and you're going to use your headset in standalone mode, but you also have a PC that is for gaming, so a little bit more powerful, and you also have access to PC games, then I would also suggest to get the Pico 4. Also, if you live in China, Pico actually offers some services that are awesome and not available on the Quest, but sadly not available outside of China. For example, movies, 3D movies, and other services that you can use and watch. But yeah, this is only for China as of the moment. And if you want to get a headset made by Meta, but you don't like the fact that currently Pico has better hardware, then you have two options. You can spend a lot more money on the Quest Pro, or you can wait until the end of the year when Quest 3 should be released. It should compare a lot better to the Pico 4, and it might even be better. And of course, you're interested in productivity and not in games entertainment, and you need a headset for work, then Meta is the company focusing on business and offering applications like Horizon Workrooms, so you should get a Meta device. For fitness, however, I would recommend again Pico 4 because it is lighter, and with the position of the tracking rings on the controllers, you have more freedom to do all different kinds of exercises, and with a more comfortable headset you'll be able to spend more time training and not feeling pain on your neck or anywhere else. Well, that's it. Thank you for watching. If I have missed something or you have a different opinion than mine, then please write in the comments. If the video was helpful for you, then please leave a like. And if you'd like to see more content about VR, game development, subscribe and write a comment about what you'd like to see learn next. If you'd like to check my game, it is currently available on Quest and on Rift. There are links in the description. If you'd like to test my game on Pico 4, it is available in beta, so you can send me an email or write me in Discord and I'll give you access to the beta channel. And if you'd like to follow the development of my game, you can also join the Discord channel. Thank you and bye.